92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. Thanks so much for being with us on this Frangie show. Frank on vacation. He will be back on Monday, but Hacker kind enough to join us again. JJ is here. I am Hayes Carline. We've got lots to get to. Brigadier General Mike Fleming's going to join us in our next segment. We always appreciate it when Mike comes in. Does such a fantastic job of communicating the needs of veterans and what we can all do to help our veterans. We're going to talk resources available to veterans, how friends of veterans can encourage use of the resources that are available. So that's coming up in our next segment, and we certainly appreciate Mike's time coming in to educate us on that. At 4:40, Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship, will join us. We're going to talk my guy, Pot Guider. You thought the Pot Guider era was over. You thought you'd escaped. You have not, because Lee Smith is getting ready to be peppered with questions about Aldrich Pot Guider.
Does he know you're part of the Pot Guider fan club?
He's about to.
You're the president of the Pot Guider fan club.
Treasurer and secretary.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy is going places, and I'm going to lead him to the promised land. So we'll talk all things golf with Lee Smith. That'll be a lot of fun. The John Deere is going on right now. Not a huge event, obviously. The PGA Tour is sort of, the kind of some lower level events until the international attention turns towards next week's Scottish Open, which is an event that's really kind of raised its stature in the last few years. It feels like it's got some nice momentum among golf fans, and then obviously you get the British Open, which will be outstanding at Royal Portrush. So lots to get to with Lee. And then at 5 o'clock, we're going to do something fun. We are going to rank the top 10 greatest active American athletes. They have to be active. So don't send us somebody who isn't currently playing. And they don't have to be at like the prime of their career. We're not talking about like how good are they today. Like Kevin Durant is active. He totally qualifies, and we're judging him off of career success. Mm-hmm. So we'll do that. It'll be a lot of fun. So the top 10 in honor of the 4th of July are our greatest active American athletes, in our opinion. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Number one, obviously, Joey Chestnut. But
of course, I mean,
2 through 9,
yeah.
or 2 through 10. Right?
Yes, no doubt about it. So how are you guys? Everybody good? You getting excited for the 4th? Do you have something that you're looking forward to, whether it's a food or fireworks or activity that's sort of a tradition for your family?
Yeah, we'll go do dogs and burgers at my mom's house tomorrow, and then I don't think I'll head out to the actual beach. I got buddies that live, 5-10 minutes from the beach, but you can still get a pretty decent view of the fireworks without dealing with the thousands upon thousands of people that will be out there. So I might end up doing that. But yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great celebration, and 249 years old tomorrow is our nation. So it's a great time to be an American.
Hard to believe. I was a bicentennial baby, so it's always easy for me to remember that.
All right. Yeah.
So what about you, JJ? Any
I got a 5K at 7:30 in the morning, bro.
Wow.
Yes, I'm expecting Hack to be there as well.
About to say, you have a 5K at 7 in the morning, and you're here with me till 10 o'clock tonight?
That'll be fine.
Wow.
I've done it the last couple of years.
And you're in good shape. So,
I
mean,
run every day.
I was going to say, so fun. Is this kind of child's play?
No, because it gets really hot, man.
Okay.
Like, I would say that the July 4th one is always my toughest one, like, time-wise. Because it sounds early, but it's still freaking hot out there, man. And then we'll just go to the beach after that.
Do you get, like, kind of wrapped up in your time, or is it just kind of so what's a good time for you tomorrow?
Last 5K I ran was in 25 minutes and like 20-something seconds. So
that's awesome.
I get to if I run it in like 27 to 28, I'll be happy just because it's going to be so hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not at the top of my game right now, but yeah, I'm expecting like 27, 28 minutes.
All right. Yeah.
And then I'll be at the beach drinking profusely.
This is probably a really, really stupid question. I'm going to ask it anyway. Exactly how long is a 5K?
Like 3 miles, a little bit more than 3 miles.
So you run 3 miles in 25 to 27 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening with me.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
You got to train a little bit.
Awaken 180 has done a lot for me, but that still is probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, JJ's absolutely. If the three of us had to run a race, that's who we're nominating.
Yes.
JJ LaSilva, no doubt
But,
about it.
I used to be the cigarette smoker guy here. So
Yeah.
I was just like completely with Hack on that.
How long have you not been smoking?
Probably 5 years.
Did you notice like a tremendous.
Immediately.
Really?
Dude, within like a few weeks of stopping smoking, you're just able to do so much more physically. Yeah, it was insane, man.
Very good.
So,
very good. What did you guys think of Kershaw getting strikeout number
Love it.
3,000 in his career?
Love it. One of my favorite pitchers, non-Braves pitchers of all time. Just always been a good guy. Sort of got that rap for being like unclutch in the playoffs for so many years until they finally won a ring or two. But yeah, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. And if you didn't know, he was the catcher for Matt Stafford.
That's right.
In high school.
And you know what I thought last night when I was seeing that? I didn't see it
Matt
live.
Stafford was the catcher. Sorry.
Right, Stafford was. I didn't see it live, but I saw the highlights this morning. I thought back to, golly, it's been a long time, but back to when Clayton Kershaw was a member of the Jacksonville Suns.
Wow.
And I remember going out there, and I remember seeing Clayton Kershaw. Didn't think anything of it at the time, that he was going to one day be in Cooperstown at the Baseball Hall of Fame. But yeah, Jacksonville Suns. I even forget how long he was here, but I know one of the games he was here I happened to be at, because for whatever reason I don't know if he was a relief pitcher or what it was, but he pitched that day that I was down there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You got to see a Hall of Famer before he, got to the show.
I mean, you think about this organization. Randy Johnson had a cup of coffee here.
Right.
A-Rod had a cup of coffee here.
Tom Seaver.
Yeah, the Hall of Famers that have played.
I'm pretty sure Hank Aaron had a.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're
as
right.
well. I think so. I mean, the heritage in Jacksonville for baseball is outstanding.
Like there was one, like the Carolina Mudcats were here back in 2003, like right when I got into radio, and I was down at batting practice. I think Dempsey was doing a show down there or something, and there was this dude that was just launching balls out of the ballpark. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And one of the Carolina media members came over and was like, oh, yeah, that's our young guy, Miguel Cabrera.
Wow.
I was like, oh, Miguel Cabrera. That's another guy that's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
File that name away.
Exactly.
10 years later. Yeah,
Kershaw's numbers in 2008 for the Jacksonville Suns were pretty epic.
Well,
he had like a 1.9 ERA. In 60 innings, he had 59 strikeouts, only walked like 13 guys. Just, phenomenal player.
So he's the fourth lefty and 20th pitcher overall to get to this milestone, which is obviously amazingly impressive. What'd you think of the Gators? Got another recruit. It depends. I think some have him as a 3-star safety. Some have him as a 4-star. CJ Hester. Any thoughts about Florida in terms of recruiting in this prospect?
Yeah, my general rule with that is I go with the 24/7 composite.
Okay.
Because they take like 4 or 5 different things.
And they have them as a
factor it
3-star in the composite?
I thought
Is
it was
it a
a
4-star?
4-star.
Okay.
I thought 24/7 had him as a 4-star. Regardless, he's a good player. I mean, when you see the guy has 25 offers, he chose Florida over, they say Georgia. I got Georgia buddies that are debating that one.
Okay.
But Auburn, Syracuse, a bunch of other teams were in the mix. And what I love about it, Hayes, from a Gator perspective, Cocoa, right?
Right.
You go down into the central South Florida area. Anytime you can do that.
Hotbed.
Anytime you can do that and bring a guy to Gainesville that's good on Billy Napier. It's been a really good 18-hour period because you got that 4-star defensive tackle yesterday. Now Hester, the 4-star corner. Florida's been reasonably hot on the trail. They cooled off for the last week or so, but now these back-to-back commitments, there's a lot of other guys that are committing in the next week or so. I was talking to David Waters last night, the Gators Breakdown podcast. There's, I believe, a tight end in Brunswick that's considered to be one of those 3-4-star guys. He's close to a 300-pound tight end.
Wow.
So, like, everybody wants him, and he's a Gator lean right now, too. So, Billy Napier's not done by any stretch of the imagination.
What'd you guys think of U.S. soccer last night? They did get the win over Guatemala, and will play Mexico in the final.
Had to be done. I mean, look, here's what I don't understand.
Almost wasn't done.
Right. I mean, it's 2-1. St. Louis, Missouri, like, how was the United States the road team last night?
A
There were
disgrace.
more Guatemala fans. Guatemala, not Mexico or Canada or Costa Rica. Guatemala fans in that stadium than there were United States of America fans. I was shocked by that.
That is shocking.
I don't know if Guatemala's got a big St. Louis contingent. I don't know the correlation there.
They haven't been to the semifinals since '96.
Yeah.
So
okay.
maybe
So
like
this was
every
like-
Guatemalan in the Midwest
in
made
the
it
world.
out.
Right.
Everybody that lives in Guatemala descended in St. Louis.
3 guys on Guatemala's team that were born and raised in America.
Yeah, but the United States, when they score, they're getting booed in St. Louis. Yeah, it was awful.
That's terrible.
It was embarrassing.
And you know what's sad is the World Cup's going to be like that.
Yeah, agreed. And
like every single game we play next year in our own World Cup will probably be more away fans.
But to answer your question, they had to get it done. They did. And now it's what every soccer fan hopes for in this scenario. And I think casual sports fans, because of this scenario, might tune in on Sunday. It's the USA and Mexico. That's what you want. If you're a soccer fan, a Gold Cup fan, the United States and Mexico, another chapter to be written, albeit these are not either side's A rosters, if you will. But anytime Mexico is competing against the United States on the soccer pitch, as they call it, it's going to be great. Here's the problem, though. That game's in Houston. There will be 60,000 Mexico fans there. Yeah. And maybe 15 to 20,000 American fans. It will be another road game.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was embarrassing last night.
That is embarrassing.
It was.
Oh, my. And, JJ, you picked up on it as well.
Oh, dude. And the announcers talked about it incessantly because it was so obvious.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And again, like, if it would have been Mexico last night, or if it would have been Canada, or even a Costa Rica, like, I could have somewhat understood it.
Yeah.
The fact that it was Guatemala,
right, and
they outdrew the U.S. in a 22,000-seat stadium was not a good look.
Yeah, wow.
I guess also, like, from a U.S. fan perspective, if the real players don't want to show up, why am I going to show up?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, good point. Now to the real big news of the day. We do have an update on Red Panda.
Oh, yes.
And it could be worse, I suppose. It's not a career-ending injury for Red Panda, who fell off her unicycle a couple nights ago at the WNBA game. She's got a broken wrist and is going to be out 3 months, but I fully expect that we will see Red Panda back on a basketball court on her unicycle, juggling all sorts of amazing things.
About to say,
at some point soon.
3 months, that puts her in for the NBA opening night. NBA opening night's going to be roughly.
Good point.
They're going to rush her.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rehab that's got to be quick.
There's no doubt.
We can't have setbacks here.
There's no doubt.
But hopefully we'll have Red Panda back in any way. So hopefully she has a speedy recovery. We've got lots to get to. As we mentioned, Brigadier General Mike Fleming is going to join us in our next segment. We're going to talk about Firewatch, veterans, the resources that are available to veterans. This is obviously it's a celebration, but you want to be mindful of the struggles that veterans go through. And Mike has been very eloquent in sharing that with us throughout the years here on the Frangie Show. And so we're going to talk about that next coming up. But lots to get to. Lee Smith again will join us at 4:40 to talk golf. We're going to rank the 10 greatest active American athletes in our opinion. So that'll be a fun segment at 5 o'clock. We're going to talk a little Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah.
We're just a few weeks away from Happy Gilmore 2 coming out. So we'll get everybody's thoughts on that. And I want to ask you guys, how much slack do you give your coach when he wins it all? So Hacker, in our case, Todd Golden just won the national title. What does he have to do in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years before you'd be like, I'm not sure this is my guy? So something to think about. Lots to get to on the Frangie Show. Again, Frank on vacation. He'll be back with us on Monday. You are listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Why do you like them so much?
Because they stand on a wall. And they say nothing's gonna hurt you tonight. Not on my watch.
This is America.
Proud to live in America. 1010XL.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right. Dan, I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Bari here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Bari Orthopedics today or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts. And at 1010XL.com. Trained by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But, Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental, with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Hey, Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space.
Slam dunk your floors at CheckmateCoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Summer means fun in all forms. Longer days and more chances to soak up the sun and the fun. Budweiser and Bud Light reminding you to drink wiser. Hydrate between beers and don't sweat it. It's the best way to get home safely.
Power bill just went up again? Why keep paying more? Clay Solar can wipe that electric bill out. Right now, they'll cover your first 6 months' payments. Visit claysolar.com today to schedule your free consultation. claysolar.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Stanley Pools. Give them a call. Boy, it's good to see you. Brigadier General Mike Fleming, kind enough to join us and does such a wonderful job educating us about the needs of veterans and where veterans can go and how people that, are just, citizens that aren't involved in the military can be involved and kind of be on guard for things to look for. So, Mike, we always appreciate your time coming in and educating us. So thank you so much. And let's just start with some of the resources that are available to veterans that are looking for some help.
Yeah, Hayes, Hacker, thanks so much for letting me come on. And, we try to come on around Independence Day is, of course, for all of us. So it's not specifically a military holiday. But when you think about I'll be 250 years next year, it's the men and women, number of men and women who've served in the military over that time has been tremendous. I mean, we're free as a country. We get to worship or drive where we want because of God's blessing. And then men and women who've, decided that they want to serve our country over the centuries. And so I think this is a great time for have a reminder about what the men and women who have served and are serving are doing for us. And that's, many times come on here and talk about the Fire Watch. That's our veteran suicide prevention program we have here. It's thefirewatch.org. And the foundational aspect of it is we believe that the 90% who haven't served really have something to offer. Because if veterans could solve the veteran suicide problem, we'd done it. There just aren't enough of us. And so what we need to do is make sure we engage those 90%. So we have something called a Watchstander program, which is about an hour long of training. You take that, and then we want you to be involved in your veterans' lives. You should feel confident talking to a veteran, just like with any one of your friends, if he or she is not doing what they normally do. If they normally play golf every Saturday and all of a sudden aren't doing it or don't want to go out. And so, as you indicated, we're fortunate. We have a lot of resources, and we have over 9,000 watchstanders that have taken the training. And the great thing, we have almost 12,000 referrals from those watchstanders. We engage a company that does that for us. And really, that's it. Taking the training is great, but getting the veteran to resource, and we're very fortunate. We have so many different resources here in across the nation, and here specifically here in Northeast Florida. And so, glad to just go over a couple of them. And
please,
it's and it really starts with the Veterans Administration, the VA. The VA really is the big brother for veterans. It's got so many different things to offer. Josh Pridgeon is a great friend of mine. He's responsible for the 18 or 19 different facilities in North Florida, South Georgia. And the VA is a tremendous advocate for veterans. And one thing I would ask that watchstanders or really anyone is ask your veteran friend if he or she is registered with the VA. And I know this is going to sound kind of technical, but for me, I had the GI Bill and also had a VA loan. And so when I retired from the military in 2010, I thought I was registered for the medical aspect, and I wasn't. And so it's important that veterans register with the VA from a medical standpoint. And you may not get a disability, but you need to have that because as veterans get older, there are programs for caregivers, for veterans and things. And so you don't have access to any of those programs. So the number one thing is to encourage your veteran friends to be connected to the VA as really just the start point of it, because you have different kind of programs that the VA does. And we have a terrific VA here in North Florida, South Georgia.
One of the things, Mike, that we've instilled in my 6-year-old son is whenever we see a veteran out with a cap or in uniform, he always tells them, "Thank you for your service." Mm-hmm. And when you see their reaction, their face just lights up with that. It means so much to them. And it takes so little to do, to say, "Hey, thank you for your service." But obviously you can speak to that, how much that means to them. What are some of the biggest challenges facing veterans in our community right now?
Yeah, we love thank you for your service. And then the Watchstander program takes it to another step, because I think some people look at it and say, "Gee, I've never served in the military, so how could I really engage this individual?" And some of the challenges, a lot of challenges come from transitioning out of the military because it's regimented. It's not quite as regimented, maybe some people think, but you really have something, particularly, let's say you're a sailor coming off active duty here in Jacksonville. You're transitioning out of being in a unit, a lot of camaraderie, and into the civilian world. And I mean, the civilian world's great. I've been retired now for 15 years and love that. But transitioning and moving and being able to interact and with people, and also be treated. I mean, most people, as I said, think the military service and honor it is good, but don't treat them as somebody. Gosh, I can't talk to that person. And I think that's one of the challenges with friends. If the military, which we use our own jargon, sometimes we're one worst enemies, we end up talking about that, and then someone says, gee, I really can't interact with that person. So it's to treat your veteran friends just like you would any friend, because all of us have particular things we've done in our lives that are unique, but that doesn't mean that, we can't talk to people about that.
Our good friend, Brigadier General Mike Fleming, joining us to talk about the firewatch.org. How can friends of veterans, how would you recommend encouraging them to get those veterans friends to find those resources?
That's a great question, Hayes. First, take our training. Like I said, we partner with Psych Armor, and the first is just give you a broad review of military, kind of a military 101, and then also the fact that you can talk to your veterans about mental health. If you talk about suicide, that does not create suicide. In fact, if you don't talk to a veteran, that may lead to suicide. Now, most veterans are not anywhere near that in that state of mind, and then we use the term get upstream. In other words, let's get to challenges before they become acute. I mean, if there's something acute, then that's fine. Call 911. But really, we want to get upstream of that. And so we have a resource listing on thefirewatch.org. And then we have other great organizations like the Cohen Veterans Network has a great mental health clinic for veterans and military families here, and also active duty. Wounded Warrior Project, as you know, is headquartered here. Lieutenant General retired Walt Pyatt is the new CEO. Mike Lennington did a phenomenal job. And veterans should be connected with Wounded Warrior Project because they have a variety of programs that they do. We also have things like Operation New Uniform, which helps with transition. We have Canines for Warriors. Navy retired Captain Dan Bean is the CEO, does a great job with that. And then I also want to mention Mission United. United Way of Northeast Florida has something. Melanie Potts is the CEO, and she's committed to making sure we have veterans and then military family members. And Jonathan Richmond's the new executive director of that. And if you don't know where to turn, United Way has the 211. And when you call there, they will ask you, have you or a family member ever served in the military? That'll get you to specific case manager who can help get to veterans to resources.
You and I have a mutual friend in Bill Hickey that comes on with me every year to talk about the Veterans Job Fair at the Players. That's one avenue that's available to veterans in our area, and that's a huge deal, and it's gotten bigger every single year. I know you obviously are very, very involved in that job fair. What are some of the other outlets that veterans can look to find work or things along those lines?
Yeah, that's a great question. As I told you earlier, Bill Hickey and Matt Toohey, both Navy veterans, do all the work, and I take the credit for it. And that's what Marines and soldiers do. But Jacksonville Military Veterans Coalition was created in 2012 to really help military family members and veterans get employment. And so you can go on our website any day. We have 500 plus companies who've committed to hiring veterans and military family members. So you can start with that. We have our job fair that's associated with the Players Championship. I know Lee's going to come in. It's in the bigger umbrella. And we're actually the first event on that Saturday morning before the tournament, actually the first event for the whole week. And so I think from an employment standpoint, start with the Jacksonville Military Veterans Coalition. That listing will give you a 500-plus company who says, yes, we want to hire veterans and military family members.
The Veterans Safe Place program is such a vital part of it. How can business owners get involved in that?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we wanted to do, obviously we love people who just hear this to say, I'm going to go on the firewatch.org and become a watchstander. But what we'd love to do is get businesses. And so if businesses can go on there, and then we can have one of our Firewatch personnel come on and brief their whole staff on that. and become a veteran safe place. We list you on our website. Plus, we have a little sticker that you can put in a window or number of windows, whatever is most appropriate, because we want veterans to walk in. If they see that sign that said, okay, this organization cared enough to learn about veterans. And again, most veterans are just everyday people. You can have a bad day. I can have a bad day. It has nothing to do with being a veteran. But what we want to do is we want to know you've taken the time to learn about veterans and learn about the military experience, because the military experience is really normally something really positive. For by and large, it's positive, but sometimes there are negative aspects of it that can resurface. And for a veteran to know that a business or an individual is taking the time to learn about the military experience really means everything.
Now, we're throwing a lot of information, Mike, at people. If they want to get more involved, if they want to learn about some of these things that we've mentioned here, what is the best place to go get this information? Is it thefirewatch.org?
Thefirewatch.org, absolutely. And the key element, we have had a 25% reduction in veteran suicide between 2019 and 2023. And it's certainly not all the Firewatch, because what we want to do is leverage all these great resources across Northeast Florida to make a difference. And it's a community commitment. Rory Diamond had this idea in 2018, 2019, got everyone involved. And then his theory was, hey, we need the community to make the commitment. And that's what we want to do. Why we say we want to engage the 90%, which is really everyone. This is not a military issue where the military guys go off and solve it, because we haven't solved it. What we need to do is, as a community, make sure that we have the whole community involved. And like I said, my dad met my mom. He was a sailor at Mayport, and so I was born and raised here in Jacksonville. So it's really important to me that we do that, my hometown, that we really address this. And it's making a big difference, but it's only going to continue to make a difference if we get more people involved.
Final thing for you, Mike, and I can't thank you enough for your time coming in here. For non-veterans, do we need to be a little bit more on heightened alert for our veteran friends when there is some uncertainty, upheaval in the Middle East, Iran, things like that? Is there a direct correlation between the two?
And that's a great question, Hayes. I think it's an individual question. And then, I would say you would want to just, engage your veteran just in a regular conversation, not start, hey, are you upset by this?
Yeah.
It's just have a, conversation about it, just like we would have a conversation about anything. And this has nothing to do with politics, whether something was right or wrong, but it's just a discussion about that. And so there are times that your veteran can be affected by something that maybe you wouldn't even think about. And so I think that's why it's to be involved. Just like we want our friends involved in our lives, we want you involved, everyone involved with the lives of their veterans and military families. And also, I'd stress this is also you want to be involved in the lives of people who are currently serving, whether it be active duty, National Guard, and Reserve. We have deployments here out of Jacksonville all the time. So this is not something the military, hey, this happened 10 or 15 years ago. It's happening today, where you have sailors, are going on deployments. You have the National Guard and Reserve. I was the Assistant Adjutant General for the Florida Army National Guard, so I'm still pretty connected with that. They're getting deployed all the time for different types of things. And so, fortunately, it may not be as dangerous maybe as Iraq and Afghanistan were, but they're still just as gone from their family for deployments. So, find out if you have, active duty or National Guard and Reserve friend. How can you help during deployments? And just get involved with their lives.
Brigadier General Mike Fleming, thank you so much again. Thefirewatch.org. Go check it out. We certainly appreciate your time. Hope you have a wonderful, happy 4th of July.
Thanks to everyone. And, invest and get off the sideline and help your military friends.
Absolutely. When we come back, Lee Smith will join us to talk golf. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Experience professional grade at Nimnik Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. That's right, 0%. You can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. Nimnik also has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup, like the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Curious about an EV? Well, you can save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV, SUV, and truck, plus the all-new GMC Sierra EV. Now with cash incentives, now is the time to take an EV test drive. So shop at Nimnik today. That's Nimnik Buick GMC. Who's got the best prices, the best products? Nobody but Nimnik. We are professional-grade GMC.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
How long have we been friends? We're not friends.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
But if we teamed up, it could bring your career to the next level.
The Drill.
Imagine this.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Over $250,000 in cash and prizes available, with payouts up to 20 places. Of course, there's great prizes for lady anglers, and bring along your junior anglers as well. Register today at kingfishtournament.com. Even if you're not on the water, spectators will enjoy fun exhibits, food, kids' activities, and a fireworks display at the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for up to 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Go ahead and dial it.
Dial what? When you call in your opinion or hear an interesting interview from a sports insider on Jaguars Today or XL Primetime, you're getting it straight from the Checkmate Coatings phone line all day, every day on 1010XL.
Growing up in Jacksonville, I always associated beards with an elevated experience, something that isn't your big box store.
Dr. Aryan Afshari talking about his experience at Beards Diamonds.
Every single time I've walked into Beards, I have felt confident. I have felt like I've been guided down the right path. I feel like no one is there to take my money and that they all have my best interest in mind.
When Dr. Afshari went into Beards Diamonds for his engagement ring, he was blown away by the selection.
We walked into Beards, they showed us a massive array of diamonds, of bands.
But they helped him narrow it down and even offered to customize a designer setting for a one-of-a-kind ring.
I showed them some inspirations and they really kind of knocked it out of the park. I think Megan still has the best ring out of all her friends.
Beards Diamonds. Unbeatable selection, direct importer prices, designer rings, no commission salespeople, and local owners.
I wanted something meaningful, and that's what I found at Beards.
Get the value and luxury experience you deserve. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit topdressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with topdressing.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. Hacker is here. JJ is here. I am Hayes Carline, and we are pleased to be joined with our good friend Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship. Lee, how you doing?
Doing well, Hayes. How about yourself? Beautiful outside.
It's gorgeous, and I've got pot guider fever, baby. Tell me all you can tell me about Aldrich's pot guider, the 20-year-old South African who just got a huge win on the PGA Tour.
Well, the guy's an amazing talent. I think they were even talking about ball speed is in the top 5%, if not higher, on the PGA Tour. 190 plus, just hits it a mile, and then I think when you look at him, you can tell that he's on our diet program as well,
which I love.
Absolutely, a really easy guy to relate to, other than his golf game.
Right.
So just another one of those things. Hayes, momentum on the PGA Tour and the ability to create new stars. I think he's with a playoff loss early in the season and then now a win. I think he's just another one of those names and faces that we'll see quite often going forward.
And that goes into what I was going to ask you. Now, if Pot Guider looked like the regular decathletes that win every week on the PGA Tour, I don't know if it would have been as big a deal. But we did an entire segment about him on Monday because he is your average Joe that looks like he goes out there on the weekends to your, whatever golf course. I would think from a PGA Tour standpoint, having a guy like that win that's not as in shape as almost everybody else out there, that's probably a good thing, correct?
Absolutely, Hack. I think, being able to, again, relate to players. When you go back to the Fan Forward survey and 50,000 plus responses, really one of the core items there was to tell stories about the players that maybe fans don't get to see and hear about. And it talks about the relatability. And, you turn back the clock 30 plus years, obviously maybe totally different reasons. But, the ability to relate to a guy like John Daly that just played a totally different game, homemade golf swing, but was really, really popular from a fan perspective and still is. And you look at a guy like Pot Guider that creates the speed, has the look and feel that he does, but is just looks like a future star. I think it's certainly great for the PGA Tour.
The other thing, too, that I have really started to appreciate, I used to mainly just pay attention to the players and the big tournaments. What I found so compelling watching on Sunday is it's so life-changing. Now, the guys that he was in the playoff with, Chris Kirk is a journeyman. He's had a nice career. But still, even at 40 to win an event, it does a lot for you. Grazerman was looking for his first win, if memory serves. And Pot Guider getting his first win, he's in the Players Championship. Talk about some of the exemptions and things that now benefit that young man moving forward as a winner on tour.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Hayes. It the financial implications is certainly a big part of it. Maybe the immediacy, but I think what you see that is even more important than that is the ability to control your schedule and knowing where you're going to play for the next 2 years. Having all those exemptions and being exempt on the PGA Tour for the rest of this year and then 2+ years really, provides the opportunity not only for you to know where you're going to play, but now, the ability for an agent to go get sponsorships to say, hey, you're going to see our logos now for 2+ years.
Right.
And so it really sets them up for the future. And to your point, the benefit of the check that they'll get a couple days after winning is fantastic, but the certainty of I'm going to play on the PGA Tour where I've always dreamed, to play for the next 2 years. I'm getting into all those major championships, the Players Championship, the signature events, all of those types of things really set them up for quite a while.
Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players, with us here on 1010XL. And Lee, what does it say about a 20-year-old to be able to keep his composure in a situation like that and win? And what was it, 5 playoff holes? I mean, it was wild. And you factor in, we've talked about how popular he might become because of this, but then the age as well, only being 20 years old.
No, isn't that a great part of the sport, Hack? I look at, you look down the field this week at the John Deere Classic as an example to answer your question. Not the easiest date for all of the, the top players to show up, but they've done such a good job at the John Deere Classic of embracing the amateurs, the young players, the high-level college players. But then you also see, the players that have name recognition like the Jason Days and Ricky Fowlers, and Matt Kuchar, Max Homa's on the leaderboard. Those players that might be in their 30s and 40s that are now competing against those 19, 20, and 21-year-olds. I think ultimately that's the great part about the PGA Tour is being able to regenerate talent in the Michael Thorbjornsens and the Potgieters and Luke Clantons, now. And we just saw, what was it this week, that our local favorite, Miles Russell, committed to Florida State. I think the ability to bring those 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds to compete with the, either the journeyman or either the established players, I think that's what's great about the PGA Tour of how they, we just create stars, what essentially seems like week by week.
Without a doubt. And I was really encouraged to see Max Homa play well today. Shot a 63, 8 under. He's in second place. Is it too late for Max to kind of find his stride before we get to, is he too far out in terms of Ryder Cup, or, and just give us your sense of, do you anticipate Max Homa sort of coming out of the slump that he's been in?
Well, I think he's too good to not, continue to compete. And obviously having been out there and won the times that he's won on difficult golf courses between Riviera and winning at Quail Hollow, he's going to show up and he'll be there. I think for him, he probably admittedly would say his entire career has been kind of a roller coaster, right? He plays really well for a while and then goes through these dips and a changing caddy and, working on your game is always a difficult thing. I think it's never too late when it comes to Ryder Cup days, and that you 6 automatics and then you get 6 choices. So, somebody that plays really, really well down the stretch here and, sneaks into an Open Championship and gets a top 10 and some of those realistic things, and then all of a sudden just gets on the radar. I think it's certainly possible. Probably a long shot for him at this point, but again, going back to kind of that name recognition and past champions, it's great to, as you said, to see Max Homa play well and see him on the leaderboard.
I don't know what it always has been about the John Deere Classic, right? You talk about the ultimate sponsorship tag. I always talk about the John Deere Classic every single year. It's not one of the biggest tournaments, but it's always one that gets my attention. And what I like about this year's field, Lee, is you look down the leaderboard a little bit, you see a couple of names that had a lot of success, and maybe they can rekindle that this weekend. Both Ricky Fowler and Matt Kuchar only 3 shots back. Well, I'd love to see Matt Kuchar do something this weekend. That'd be a lot of fun if he can stick around in this thing.
Absolutely. Kind of like Keegan at Travelers, right? That kind of fell in his lap with Tommy struggling those last couple holes. But some of those that's what this tournament's all about. Again, kind of a tough place on the schedule, but really John Deere just renewed their title sponsorship through 2030. They're I think the second longest title sponsor, continuous title sponsor on the PGA Tour, since the mid 90s. Just such a great partner. And how great is it for a John Deere Classic to be played at TPC Deere Run, a golf course that they're very familiar with and a big part of. But you said it. To combine, we've got 3 amateurs in the field that were special invites from John Deere, and combine that with the Matt Kuchers and Lucas Glovers and Jason Days of the world that, maybe their first preference to start the year would be to not have to play at John Deere. But I think when they go there, it's such a great community event. The Quad Cities and those cities there in Illinois and Iowa really wrap their arms around the John Deere Classic and 4th of July weekend. They have great concerts and, really a community can't miss event.
We'll turn our attention internationally starting next week with the Scottish Open. Lee, in your opinion, the Scottish Open, is that a pretty good indicator for a player's form going into the British Open, or are the venues? And again, I don't even does the Scottish Open rotate?
It has rotated in the past, but over the last few years has been at the same place at the Renaissance Club. So it's been at the same venue for the last few years. Hey,
does it set up well with Royal Portrush? Like, should we if somebody plays well at the Scottish Open, would that lead you to believe they probably will maintain that form at the British Open?
Yeah, the golf courses are different, and certainly playing golf in Scotland and England is different from Ireland in many ways, similar in many ways. But certainly somebody that plays well at the Scottish Open, is going to garner momentum and feel really good. A lot of players, as you can imagine, a lot of players with 5 and 6 and 7 hour time differences going over there. Will really go over there playing the Scottish Open, not only to compete in a very high level event and in a global stage that way, but also to really get their feet set on the ground with a big time change, sleep patterns, playing a different type of golf, of playing the golf ball more on the ground and less in the air, a firmer golf course, a lot of things to get familiar with. So I don't think you can bank on it, but I think you're right in that, if you see somebody play with some momentum at the Scottish Open, they're going to feel real good going into Portrush.
You just spoke to it right there, Lee, but we can see the difference on TV, obviously. But for the players themselves, the biggest difference or differences between playing in Europe and playing over here?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more, when you're watching, I just happened to have it on TV. I just saw, Jason Day hit a shot from what looked like 160 yards, and the ball landed on the green and didn't move when it landed. You're not going to get much of that at the Scottish Open and at Portrush for the Open Championship. A lot more putters around the greens, playing the ball on the green or on the ground. You'll probably see, what has become customary on the PGA Tour of people carrying 5 woods and even 7 woods. You probably see a lot more, long irons to where you can play that ball a little bit lower and get the rollout on the ground as opposed to, getting all your distance through the air. It's a fun way of playing golf, and certainly you then add in the elements. We're seeing over the last couple of weeks really, really good weather with less wind, and you take it over there, and all of a sudden the elements play a much bigger role in how people prepare, even with your bag and having your rainproofs with you and playing the ball on the ground and keeping it out of the wind. It's a lot different golf. And I think, all the listeners out there that have taken those trips to Scotland and Ireland and play golf will certainly attest to that.
Lee, we'll get you out of here on this one. We were just talking with Brigadier General Mike Fleming, and Hacker brought up the job fair that the Players Championship has every year to sort of start off the week. It's such a wonderful event. Give us an update on what's going on with the Players Championship and obviously how meaningful that event is for you guys.
Yeah, it's, our opening weekend and all the events around that has continued to grow, Hayes, from year to year. And that's one of the things we're working on right now. 8, 9, 10 months ahead is how we can continue to expand that, continue to make that not only with the following week in the competition, but to make that opening weekend and the fact that we have our fan shop open and We have the military job fair. We have an event called Operation Shower where we bring in 50 military expected mothers and really shower them with gifts and honor their sacrifice as part of that military duty. We always, the last couple years, we've had a Tee Up Your Future event where we've brought in some Duval County Public School students. And this last year, our partner in Comcast Business gave each one of those students, I think it was 50 of those students, gave them each a laptop to assist with connectivity that they may not have access to. And then publicly with our fan shop open and our 17th hole challenge to where it's become really a family event. We're looking into even adding some musical additions this year, during the happy hour on Friday and Saturday as people come and can sit and have a drink with us. So always new ideas and really, as you said, always a great kickoff to Players Week and how free of charge with not as many people around that you can come and really enjoy the Players Championship atmosphere.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Lee Smith, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you have a wonderful 4th. We'll look forward to talking with you next week as we turn our attention overseas to what should be some dazzling golf.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. You guys do the same. Have a safe 4th holiday.
All right, thanks. Lee Smith, Executive Director of the Players Championship. We always enjoy his golf insights. When we come back, Hacker, are you ready? We're going to rank the top 10 greatest active American athletes in honor of the 4th of July. You are listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's like pulling up a chair at the cantina.
I see your point, sir.
XL Prime Time.
Well, come on.
Weekdays 2 to 4. R2! On 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
The dog days of summer are here, and so are the hottest deals of the year. Whether you're hauling down the street, cruising on the beach, or just escaping the heat, we have the ride you're looking for and the wow you experience you deserve. Save big on select models with sizzling summer savings, low financing, and limited time bonus cash on all trades. So don't sweat it. Come beat the heat at Beaver Automotive, where the summer deals will wow you.
Ready to add some value to your day? The everyday deals at Sonny's have got you covered. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, all you can eat ribs for $19.99, and our new loaded barbecue potato for $11. Available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through July 31st. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gators!
We're
Jen Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins. Fighting for your rights since 1975.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coating. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Checkmate Coating, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. On Wednesday night, the Jumbo Shrimp fell victim to a Charlotte Knights walk-off, suffering a 4-3 loss up in North Carolina. Despite dropping last night's game, the Bats were hot for the Shrimp with solo home runs from Grant Palsy, Troy Johnston, and Jacob Marcy. They are right back to work for Game 3 at 6:05 for their final game up in Charlotte. They'll continue the series here in Jacksonville starting tomorrow at Five-Star Ballpark for a 4th of July celebration at 7:05 with fireworks. Then on Saturday, the first 2,000 fans at the stadium will receive a Nolan Ryan bobblehead for the first pitch at 6:35 before closing out the series on Sunday with dogs welcome at the ballpark for Canines and Crustaceans Night to close out the series. Declan Cronin gets the start for the Shrimp tonight with a 1-0 record and a 2.65 ERA. It's 86 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
The 4th of July celebration has not officially begun until you have heard James Brown belting out Living in America.
Yeah.
From Rocky IV.
And then Drago did what he did to Apollo.
Poor Apollo.
Poor Apollo. Throw in the towel, Rock.
I know. What are we doing? But great movie. Great song. And we certainly hope your 4th of July celebration is getting off to a fantastic start. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to celebrate our great country with the greatest active athletes that our country has produced. So we're going to rank the 10 greatest active American athletes. I would think, and this is the criteria. They don't have to be at their prime. They just have to still be playing. So if it is an athlete that is still playing, even if they're on the back nine, so to speak, of their career, we are counting them. And we're just going off the greatness. So I would assume you guys are fine with, like, LeBron's got to be one.
Well, let
right?
me ask you this.
That's
Because
what I got.
I would probably have a LeBron one with this caveat. Active. What are we saying about Tiger Woods?
He's not active.
He's not active.
Yeah.
He hasn't officially retired, but
Correct.
he's not active.
Yeah, he's not active.
Then
That is a great question.
Yeah, then LeBron would probably be one.
Okay, so we're good with LeBron at 1. So then at 2, these are some of the guys that I think are in the mix. Do you guys have anybody that you think is clearly 2?
Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Okay. Over Curry.
Yes, I have Curry 3, but Mahomes for me is like solid as a rock at 2.
Okay, I certainly have no problem with that.
Yeah, Curry's a great player, and Curry would be in my top 5, maybe number 3. But when I think of American athletes right now, Patrick Mahomes, outside of Tom Brady, is maybe the best quarterback that's ever lived.
Right.
So
okay,
it'd be tough to beat him.
I'm fine with that. So we've got LeBron at 1, Mahomes at 2. So Curry, Aaron Judge. Who do we like it?
Judge.
Now let me ask you this: what about Scotty Scheffler?
He's got to be on the list, right?
Got to be on the list.
But if we're talking about careers, he's just started. You know, like
he's had a heck of a 2-year run,
so
man.
what?
Yeah.
You know, like Phil Mickelson has 6 majors. You know, like there's guys who have had way better careers.
Here's what I would say with golf. Like, I would say Mickelson is not really active.
Okay.
But I get your point. Golf's tough.
It's very
I mean,
tough.
because Tiger is going to play. It's not like he's inactive or retired. But I guess with golf, since that's a sport you can play.
So you're at 50.
Yeah, I would say let's keep it in the bounds of somebody that could.
Even then, I mean, Brooks Koepka's had a much better career than Scotty Scheffler.
He certainly has more majors. Koepka has 5, and Scheffler has what now?
6,
Scheffler
maybe.
has 3 majors, I think, and 2 Players
Yes.
Championships.
So it's my point is, like, yeah, I would have Scheffler as the top 10. He's in mine and towards the bottom, but like his career, we're projecting mostly.
I would agree.
Of what we expect.
Well, and like,
I would agree.
Like,
There's some projection with Scheffler.
I'd have to put like same with Judge. There's at least. I mean, we just talked about Kershaw and Trout. To me, Mookie Betts even way better careers than Judge so far. We're expecting him to go in the next 10 years and hit a bunch of homers, but I don't have Judge in my top 10.
Really? Okay.
No, I have KD at 4.
Okay. All right. Let's. So at 3, then are we gonna? Do we want to go Curry?
You want Curry over Durant?
That's a good. I have Curry 3, Durant 4, but you could flip flop those. I wouldn't care. But I think people are going to look back and remember Curry as a better
Now, I'm
career,
a very tepid NBA fan.
Yeah.
But I would say, for me, I would say Curry's totally changed a franchise. Whereas I know Durant, to me, is, and I hate to penalize him for the bouncing around. Obviously, he's an unbelievable player. And if I was starting a team from scratch and they were both 17 years old, I'd probably take Durant.
Yeah.
But so it is tough.
But did he have a better career?
But I think I'd go with Curry.
Well, now let me ask you this, too, because we're obviously listing the major sports. Let me just throw 2 names at you, and you do with them what you will. Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky.
I was going to say even Caitlin Clark because she's so much better than everyone else at her sport.
But that's the thing with Scheffler. If you're going to say it's a career with Scheffler, Caitlin Clark's only been around 4 or 5 years.
I think Caitlin Clark has to be like a rated rookie on our list, where like she's not in the 10 necessarily, but
it's
we've sort of stamped that she'll be somebody to watch.
Yeah.
In
you can argue
future.
Katie
But
Ledecky is the Michael Phelps
already
of
had that
female swimming.
Is she still swimming?
That's the thing. Is she still like? I would say for an Olympic sport, are you going to be active in the next Olympics?
Oh, I would think she is.
Okay,
she?
then we can count
she's
her.
only 28, so yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Ledecky's a great call. What about Simone Biles? Because she probably won't be active in the next Olympics.
3 years from now, I don't know how long they can go. I mean, dominant in her sport.
Yeah, it's
Obviously
certainly
very well known.
What we want to have is 20 names, and then we'll get it to our 10.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to brainstorm submissions, and feel free to send them in.
She has 32 gold medals.
Who's this?
Simone Biles.
So
Okay.
if the criteria, no offense to the Lombardi Trophy or the Larry O'Brien Trophy, but if we're talking about best American,
she has seven.
She has 32 gold medals in all world championships.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
7 in the Olympics.
But if we're talking about best American athlete, somebody that represented America in the Olympics and won 7 gold medals would have to be on the list somewhere.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a great resume. So we've got LeBron, Mahomes, Curry, and Durant.
Who would be the next football?
How many other
What
NFL
about,
guys?
would you go Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen? Or
I
would
like
you
Josh
even
Allen. I wouldn't have either one.
You wouldn't have
probably,
either one?
But if I had to pick, like I put as 11 Josh Allen ?
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to put Lamar in there,
Yeah, but
to
see,
me,
wait a
I
minute.
just like Josh Allen.
If this is a career achievement award, what about Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, true that.
That's a good call.
I would have Aaron Rodgers for a career.
Yeah.
I would have Aaron Rodgers above
is
Lamar
active.
Jackson and Josh
Yeah,
Allen.
how many MVPs has he won?
It's what, 3 or 4,
And a Super
and he's
Bowl.
won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
Aaron
point.
Rodgers, absolutely great.
He'll be
job.
in Canton, Ohio.
What
one day.
about somebody like Saquon Barkley?
Is he that much
Still
better
kinda
than like
young,
Derrick
yeah.
Henry though?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at last night with Clayton Kershaw,
Right.
an active guy that has 3,000 strikeouts
He
in
has
Major
to
League
be on the
Baseball.
list,
He's
doesn't
on
he?
mine, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Should Kershaw be 5th?
I have him 6th.
Who's your 5th?
Trout. But I know that you really have to be a baseball head to know how freaking good that guy was for, 10 years of his career. He was the best player.
He is amazing.
Yeah. I also have Pulisic on there because he's the best soccer player we've ever had.
Okay.
But definitely way down there. Yeah, and then Scheffler for me. I guess I'll take Phil off. I had Phil right above Scheffler, but if we're not going to count him, then I'll take him off.
There's no 10.
Golf is hard.
There's no. I mean, Serena Williams is not active anymore.
Oh,
Correct.
I forgot about
So you couldn't. And there's no tennis player.
No.
For a career that would deserve to be in the American top 10 that's active right now.
Right.
because Serena's
There's no
not.
one in NASCAR, right? That we would say should be on this.
Jimmy Johnson's retired.
Jimmy Johnson's retired.
Isn't it sort of like all the guys now are sort of more
younger,
and coming? So there's nothing in boxing.
No. Floyd Mayweather retired.
John Jones just retired in the UFC.
Right. See, like I would throw out like Paul Skeens, but he doesn't have enough.
No.
You do this list in 2 or 3 years, and he's probably on it. But yeah, if we're trying to avoid projection on it. So
even though it's impossible to not think Scheffler's going to have about 7 majors at least.
Right. Is there what about defensively in the NFL? I can't think of anybody that's worthy.
Donald just retired.
That's the thing.
So,
And JJ Watt's retired.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure TJ
is probably the best defensive player going, but he probably doesn't deserve to be in the top 10 of current American
and
athletes.
of course, Trayvon Walker, I'd give him a couple more years.
Yeah. Travis Hunter's not going to be on this list yet either.
It is interesting, though.
What about like a Justin Jefferson? Although he's not, I guess he hasn't had a long enough career either.
Yeah. Travis
Kelce.
Kelce.
Yeah.
Kelce might be the best tight end outside of Gronk that's ever played.
I like that. That's a good submission.
Did you see what he said the other day about his Saturday Night Live?
I thought it was hilarious.
So he said, yeah, the writer's room was fun because we were all cracking jokes or whatever. But then when we had to read the script, I was very nervous because I can't read well.
That's so great.
Didn't surprise
he
any of
knows
us.
how to beat zone defense.
Yeah,
that's all he
I
needs
care
to
about.
know.
So, all right. So, football, basketball. I'm not going to pretend to know enough about hockey.
I don't know enough about hockey.
Sidney Crosby, is he American?
He's Canadian.
Yeah,
he's Canadian.
we're definitely out on hockey. We just don't know the
So,
sport
football,
well enough.
basketball, baseball, hockey. All right. We've talked about golf. We've talked about tennis, NASCAR. Is there any other sport that were Olympic sports? Like, I would imagine,
We don't have Josh Phelps anymore.
There's some Michael Phelps. Yeah,
Michael
there's
Phelps.
probably somebody in the Winter Olympics that's won like
Yeah, we're not.
eight medals
We're trying to
in
keep
luge.
this. Yeah. I mean, we're not worrying about that.
Okay.
We're worrying about athletes that like anyone from a 10-year-old to a 70-year-old would at least have heard the name before.
Where are you with John Cena? 17-time world champion now.
Yeah, and by the way, texters, we're talking about American guys. So people are saying
American guys,
Messi,
and they have to be active.
Yeah. Someone says, don't forget Jake Paul. He's beaten all the legends.
Yeah, the legend killer, Jake Paul.
Joey Chestnut.
No, that's true. Somebody says Kyle Busch in NASCAR. Of the active guys,
but
Kyle
he's
Busch
not top 10.
Yeah. So again, this is where we're at with this. So because we need to start putting some names on a list. So we've got LeBron at 1, Mahomes at 2, Curry at 3, Durant at 4, Aaron Rodgers 5. Yeah. Even though he's on the back.
Like
I would have Rodgers above Jackson and Allen for a career. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what it is. We're not going to penalize people for being on the downside of a career.
Right.
Just like we're not going to hand people accomplishments that we think are going to be fantastic, like, Caitlin Clark over the next 5-10 years, Paul Skeens.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be kind of what you've accomplished. And again, we're not penalizing you if you're not Aaron Rodgers. We certainly wouldn't consider maybe an elite player now, but obviously he's been a first ballot Hall of Famer. All right. So Aaron Rodgers 5. I kind of I sort of would go Kershaw over Trout.
Yeah.
Is that, you have
That's
any
not
issue
crazy.
with that?
I mean, 3,000 strikeouts.
Right.
Is
He's one of 20 people to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kershaw 6.
And we would have Trout over Judge.
Yes.
Okay.
No question.
Okay. Trout is 7 then. And then does that lead us to Kelsey or what about Ledecky and Biles?
I mean, Ledecky's got to be on there.
Let's go Ledecky at 8.
Yeah. Now Ledecky, if you want to include Ledecky and Biles, I wanted to mention both of them. I don't necessarily know if they both have to be on the list, but they're both unbelievably accomplished Olympians. And again, will Simone Biles be around in 3 years?
That's the thing. It's do you consider her to still be, will she be in the next Olympics?
Yeah,
That's how I would judge.
And I don't know enough about gymnastics.
I don't actually think she's going to be.
No, I don't think didn't she not do great?
I think her last one she did well, but I think it was sort of her accepted kind of swan song.
Last hurrah.
Yeah, as an Olympian. So if that's not true, we apologize to Simone Biles, but I don't think she's active.
All right, now this is on the text line. Now technically, and this could be an X factor here. If you want to get technical, Mike Tyson was on Netflix a couple of months ago. All right.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the submission. But no, I would put that in the Tiger Woods category.
Yeah.
Yes, he can still step into a boxing ring, but he is not exactly a contender to win anything.
Get naked on Netflix and flash his butt cheeks in front of people. Yeah.
Oh, Kelly Slater, 11-time world champion surfer. Okay.
Yeah, but again, does that fall into the category of would the 12-year-old sports fan know who that is? Would the 70-year-old sports fan know who that is?
And we're getting Joey Chestnut submissions and Shaun White. People know Shaun White, but that's kind of the Winter Olympics X Games thing that's off the beaten path for a lot of people.
Someone says, hello, Ovechkin. Hello, Russian.
Yeah,
right.
We're talking about American.
It's the 4th of July tomorrow.
How dare you bring him up?
All right, so
especially when we just talked about Drago killing
exactly. Kelsey at 9.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I mean, Kelsey's a future Hall of Famer. Outside of Gronk, you could argue he's out. Gronk and Gonzalez, maybe he's the best tight end that's ever played. You could argue that.
Yes.
So yeah, I would think he deserves consideration for the list. Yes.
Boy, it feels like we're missing somebody.
We probably are.
So the list is LeBron James 1, Patrick Mahomes 2, Steph Curry 3, Kevin Durant 4, Aaron Rodgers 5. Again, it is greatest active American athletes, and we're not projecting success forward or penalizing guys for being on the back end of their career as long as they're an active athlete. Clayton Kershaw 6, Mike Trout 7, Katie Ledecky 8, Travis Kelce 9.
Are we missing anybody in the NBA outside of LeBron, Durant, and Steph?
Maybe like a.
What
Kawhi
about Scheffler at 10? He does have.
I don't hate Scheffler on the list.
Maybe Scheffler at 10?
Yeah, I'd be fine with Scheffler at 10.
Let's do that.
He's a freak, man.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll go Scotty Scheffler at 10, and that rounds it out. Those are your 10 greatest active American athletes in our opinion. And feel free to send us ones that we may have left out. When we come back on the Frangie Show, I'm going to ask these guys, when your coach wins everything, wins the whole thing, how much of a grace period does that give him? Interested to get their thoughts. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
putting some paint on your quarter panel.
Trouble off turn number 2. A couple of cars spin. Kyle Busch is one of them.
Sunday at the Chicago Street Race, NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now is a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
At Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach, you just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it, come see us.
Playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Let PGA pros straighten your morning drive with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser on Brunch with the Tour, Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL. Teed up by Apex Roofing and Contracting and Clearwater Irrigation. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A.
Hi, folks. Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Are you struggling with hair loss? At IHRS, we understand because we've been there too. We're dedicated to finding the best solution tailored just for you.
My hair looks great. It was thinning, and IHRS restored my hair. It's now fuller, it's thicker, voluminous. It's made me feel great.
With the latest technology and FDA-approved laser therapy, PRP, and non-surgical hair addition, we offer guaranteed solutions for men and women.
With over 35 years of experience, IHRS found a hair restoration for us, and we can find one for you.
For me.
For me.
And me too.
Visit hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS. Get a free microscopic analysis and get to the root of your problem. This $395 analysis is yours for free. Call 904-777-4477 now.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Yo, it's your main man ET here for Explore Clay. And Clay County is your destination this 4th of July. Start the morning with the Freedom 5K in Keystone Heights. Medals for the first 300 finishers and a scenic course through the shaded neighborhoods. Then enjoy the 57th annual celebration at City Hall with vendors, live music, and family fun. Wrap up the day at Moose Haven in Orange Park for the American Pride 4th of July, a free Riverside event with food, live entertainment, and fireworks over the St. Johns River. Discover more at exploreclay.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
If tomorrow all the things were gone.
Thank you to our friends at Stanley Pools. Hope you guys are having a great start to your 4th of July celebration. Hacker is here. JJ's here. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Frank on vacation, but he'll be back on Monday. So Todd Golden wins the national championship. Is he safe for 5 years, 7 years, 3 years? In your opinion, Hack, what's the grace period? And it doesn't look like there's going to be a drop-off, but let's assume there is. And let's assume that Todd Golden starts to struggle to win games in the NCAA tournament or even make the NCAA tournament. And this is just one example, but he's the coach of teams that we follow that's won the whole thing recently. Where do you think we are in the world? If you win the whole thing, you know, how safe are you really?
My usual thought is 3 years. Now, there's a caveat to that. Now, if you go from the highest of highs to a catastrophic sports disaster, like for whatever reason, the bottom falls out in year 2, I guess, maybe you can have a conversation then. But I think 3 years leeway is absolutely what you get when you win a national championship or a Super Bowl. I would have to think, and I'd have to go in the memory banks, I would probably imagine we've probably had a Super Bowl winning coach. I mean, Barry Switzer is a prime example, right? Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl. That didn't buy him a lot of stock with Jerry Jones.
Doug Peterson.
Just
about to say, he got less than 3 years.
So to me, 3 years is about right.
Here's your statue. And you're fired.
Yeah. Now the thing with Peterson though is him and ownership got into it.
Yeah.
There was a riff there.
Shockingly, because Doug Peterson wanted Press Taylor to continue as play caller, or not to continue to become the Eagles play caller.
So like if you have a rift with ownership, well, all right, then all bets are off at that point. But if you're fine with the owner after you win a title, I would think that owner, assuming they like you, would give you 3 years minimum. And then if you're struggling after 3 years, then all options are on the table.
I think 3 years is right. That's what I would agree with. We saw it with Ed Ogeron at LSU after that brilliant season with Burrow and those dynamic receivers, Chase and Jefferson. And then a few years later, he wasn't their coach anymore. What do you think, JJ? If Cristobal wins the national title this year, is he, and he is an alum, so that obviously adds to it as well. Is he safe forever?
The context is where the school and the situation. So yeah, if it was Cristobal this year, I would assume he's got like 10 years, but you can't go like 2 and 10. You know what I'm saying? There is a line that's too far. You guys might not know this, but there's
certainly no Big Three program in this state could ever go 2 and 10.
That's impossible.
How long did y'all give Larry Coker?
Till 2004 or 5. But he was also, it's like, was he responsible for that? I mean, that team was completely not built by him. Everyone calls him the substitute teacher. It was obviously Butch Davis that turned everything around.
It's sort of like the college version of Barry Switzer in the NFL.
That's fair.
But there is a famous example overseas, and it just shows like how crazy soccer is, that there's a club in England called Leicester City. I'm sure you've heard of them. They won the championship in like 2016, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like one of the biggest Cinderella stories ever.
They were like 30,000 to 1 underdogs at the beginning of the season to win the league. So they win the league, and then a couple years later they start struggling and like surviving, like maybe we're going to get relegated, and they fired their manager, who was the guy who literally did the most miraculous thing of all time. So like different sports, different cultures, it's all crazy over there. But I feel like in America, if you win a national title in college football, you should get at least 5 years. But nowadays it doesn't seem like they do.
And I don't think
Look at Coach O.
I don't think Billy Napier would get that. if Billy Napier won the national title, pause for hysterical laughter. But if Billy Napier was somehow able to guide Florida to the national title this year, I think if he followed that up with 3 7-5s, I think he'd be out.
When did Florida State fans start getting tired of Jimbo? Because he won the title.
Yeah,
right?
maybe 2 years after he won the title.
I did. Now, again, Jimbo Fisher, so he won the title. He left Florida State after the 2017 season, and they won it in 14, right? So you're talking.
And they were ready for him to. He wasn't fired, but they weren't.
They were ready for him to go.
They were ready.
And they went 13 after he won the national title. They went 13-1, 10-3, 10-3, and then 5-6. He got laid off. But they were still pissed about the 10-3s.
Right.
So that was 1, 2, 3. So he got 5 years. He did get 5 years after that.
And did leave on his own volition.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't really on the hot seat. But still, they weren't. They weren't overly devastated when he left.
I mean, shift gears to the National Football League. Hold for laughter, like you said. But what if one day Liam Cohen
lifetime contract?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Lifetime,
right?
25-year contract. If Liam Cohen wins the Super Bowl with the Jaguars, 25-year contract.
You look at the guys that have won Super Bowls. Tomlin is still in Pittsburgh, although there are some Steelers fans that are getting a little bit upset. But that
look
Super
how
Bowl
long
was a long
it's
time
taken.
ago.
Yeah, it's taken them really long to finally be like, all right, dude.
Now, John Harbaugh, it's been a while since his Super Bowl, but he's obviously had a ton of job security, even though they haven't won it in a while.
They love him.
They love him. Mm-hmm.
It certainly depends on if your team's won in the last 20 years.
Seahawk fans were getting tired of Pete Carroll, and that's why he's gone. Did he get fired, or they just?
I think he got fired.
Yeah, because he won a Super Bowl, and obviously he should have won 2, but they didn't because they decided to throw the ball instead of running beast mode. But there was a time where his time ran out in Seattle. Andy Reid's got a lifetime contract in Kansas City. As long as he wants to coach, he'll be there. They got tired of Belichick.
Yeah.
In New England.
Without a doubt.
After he won 6 rings.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Which is very crazy, and you see what's happened to that organization since.
Yeah, they're on their second coach in as many years. So Ed Orgeron is a very interesting one because he went 15-0, one of the best offenses of all time, and then 5-5, 6-6 laid off. So they didn't even give him 3 seasons afterwards. And maybe that's because he was never like the X's and O's guy. It's sort of like everything perfect sort of fell into his lap, I guess, that season. But that and for being a Louisiana guy, they fired him after just 2 seasons after that.
Like, I think Ryan Day doesn't have. Would you guys be shocked if Ohio State fired Ryan Day in the next 3 years?
No.
The crazy thing about Ryan Day is you could legit argue if they did not beat Tennessee in the opening round of the playoff last year,
was going to be fired.
He might have been fired.
No
I think he absolutely would have been fired.
So, but he went on
to that Michigan team really still pisses people.
But he went on a 3-game winning streak, won the national championship. But you wait, if they lose to Michigan this year, all the leeway he got for winning a national title will go away with 1 loss to Michigan on Thanksgiving weekend.
Without a doubt. It's really interesting because it's coaching is such a really tough profession. And even when you accomplish something magnificent that, immortality, winning a world championship, winning a national championship, it doesn't necessarily give you the leeway moving forward that you might think. You mentioned something interesting. I'm switching gears here, so I apologize. And we're getting ready to talk pro wrestling. So if you hate that, turn off the station.
Yeah.
You mentioned John Cena in the last segment. What's going on with the heel turn? Because he's been a face. He's been a good guy his whole career. And now he's a bad guy. And we've seen this in pro wrestling where sometimes it sticks and the performer can do both, and the crowd kind of rallies around both being a good guy, a face, and a bad guy, a heel. Does it feel like with Cena doing this, like it's going to work?
Yeah, no, it hasn't worked. It got the immediate reaction they wanted when it happened a couple of months ago. But I think if you talk to any wrestling fan, and again, I'm not as much a fan as I probably used to be. I just see a lot of clips online, and I read what people put out there. The idea of what people wanted it to become, it has not become. People have not locked on to him being a bad guy because the guy's done a million Make-A-Wish things for kids, and they know it's his final year, and they know that it's part of the business to try to turn him into a bad guy, to sell more stuff and have storylines and whatnot. He's just not a bad guy.
He's about to retire?
Yeah, he's retiring in December. This is the last year.
I think it's incredibly difficult to turn heel when you're like 18 years into your wrestling career.
Oh my gosh.
Like when you think of the performers that have been able to straddle the line of being an effective heel and an effective face, who would you say? I mean, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Unbelievable heel.
Triple H.
But also, I think Triple H is more of a heel. Yeah. I mean, he did have moments as a face, but I think of Triple H as a heel.
Well, people compared the Cena heel turn to Hogan, and it was. I mean, by the way, JJ, our anniversary's on Monday, man. July 7th.
NWO.
Yeah, Hogan 29 years ago.
He was a badass heel.
He was a great heel. Well, he's got to be on the list.
Well, that's what people wanted the Cena heel turn to be as effective as the Hogan heel turn.
Right.
And it just hasn't been. It's not even close.
I think the reason is when Hogan turned heel, you didn't feel like he was at the end of his career.
Well, when Hogan turned heel, too, there wasn't Twitter.
Correct.
And there wasn't Instagram, and there wasn't all this stuff, and all the wrestling dirt pages, and all the websites, and all the spoilers, and all this.
We had like one magazine that came out once every 2
you had
weeks.
Wrestling Insider with Dave Meltzer, and that was basically it. People legitimately thought Hogan was a bad guy now, but Cena has the problem of it being 30 years later, and people are more accustomed to what's going on.
Who else could do both? HBK, Hogan. I think Macho Man Randy Savage could do both.
Macho was a great heel.
He was a great heel, but he was a great face.
Yeah.
I mean, he had big runs as a face.
Jake the Snake Roberts back in the day.
Great call. Yeah, he could do both.
When that Cobra bit Macho Man.
Oh, man.
To this day, I still can't watch it.
Oh, it's brutal.
And that aired on Saturday morning.
I was going to say, I was eating my cereal. Is a, probably, I don't know, 12-year-old.
So long ago, Hayes. Long time ago. We weren't even 92.5 back then. We were on another FM affiliate here on 1010XL. I did a show called Ringside Live.
Okay.
And I talked to a bunch of wrestlers. This is 15, 20 years ago. And Jake the Snake Roberts was actually a guest on my show. Because a lot of those guys are really easy to get on. And I asked him about the Cobra. I can't tell you exactly what he told me because I had to beep it out on terrestrial radio.
Okay.
This was back before Jake was doing the DDP yoga, and Jake was a lot more R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that every time he sees the clip of the Cobra biting Macho Man, he always told me he got really excited. In not so nice terms. So obviously he was not too fond of Randy Savage back in the day.
What about in terms of wrestlers that could do both, be the good guy and the bad guy? What about Mick Foley? Because when he was Cactus Jack, that's where I saw him first. He would battle with like Sting when I was a kid, and I guess it was WCW or NWA maybe at that point.
A long time ago.
But he was a good heel.
He was.
As Cactus Jack, and then kind of became later in his career a beloved face.
He was technically a bad guy who got thrown off the Hell in the Cell, but after he got thrown off the Hell in the Cell and he lived, he was forever like embedded as a fan favorite.
Right.
There was no wrong he could do. On the text line, Chris Jericho.
Oh, great call.
Jericho's a great one.
Yeah, Jericho, that is a great one because I would think that's pretty much 50-50.
Yeah.
He's been effective on both sides of that.
I'm watching the Cobra scene right now. They show a child in the audience that is just, I guess you guys at that age, just crying.
It was brutal.
Just so sad.
Saturday
like,
morning, it was like WWE superstars.
Yeah, after like the Smurfs or something.
And they put a king. Now they de-venomized it. There's a whole story about this. And the greatest thing about it, and Jake told me this story too. So Macho wasn't convinced that it was de-venomized. Jake had to be bit by the snake in the back curtain area.
Wow.
So Jake had to prove to Macho Man that it was de-venomized before Macho would agree for them to do it. So Jake had to let the Cobra bite him on his leg. Again, no fangs or there's no venom.
Like when a king has like peasants eat his food.
I'm not going to let a de-venomized King Cobra bite me. I don't care how much money you're paying me.
Yeah.
But apparently Jake was mad about that. And this is the story he told me on the show. So he hit the Cobra as hard as he could before he came out to the ring to make it upset. So when he put it out of the bag,
the Cobra was a great performer. It wastes no time.
No.
It sees Savage's arm and goes right on top of it.
And for like 20 straight seconds,
it's brutal.
least.
Oh, yeah. Readjusts his grip on the bite.
It's unreal.
It's unbelievable.
Roddy Piper's involved.
Piper, I think, more of a heel. He had face moments.
Yeah.
But I think of Piper more as a heel. What about you?
Piper's more of a heel to me. What about the Nature Boy?
Total heel.
Total heel?
I would say. Ric Flair, one of the greatest heels of all time.
People loved him, even though he was a heel.
Yeah, I would say so. What Undertaker, I think is face, even though
Undertaker's a good guy.
He had some run as a heel, but I think of Undertaker as a face.
Do you watch his podcast?
I do not.
6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, really?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we'll wrap it up. We're going to talk a little Happy Gilmore 2 and get you ready for 4th of July weekend. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action Update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be running the Grant Park 165 through the streets of Chicago on Sunday on a circuit running 2.2 miles in length and featuring 12 turns. Shane Van Griesbergen, who won in Mexico City, is the betting favorite. Road course specialist at plus 185. Christopher Bell is plus 800. Kyle Larson plus 900. Ty Gibbs is plus 1,100 to win in Chicago. Chase Elliott coming off his victory at Atlanta plus 1,200. Tyler Reddick plus 1,400. Alex Bowman won the race last year. He's at plus 2,000, as well as Michael McDonald, AJ Allmendinger, plus 2,500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action Update on 1010XL.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Meet John and Ben Lupo, first and second generation owners of Jacksonville's Beards Diamonds.
We can do things that these corporate stores cannot do. Make decisions on the spot. Our pricing is better than anybody else's. We do not do commissions.
We really try to keep it a family environment, relaxed. We're not trying to sell you what we want. We're trying to listen to what you want.
In fact, don't be surprised if you end up spending less at Beards than you had budgeted, because they're going to teach you how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys and show you how to buy smart.
If we can save the consumer money, we're all about that. If we can achieve the same look, the same quality, and for them to spend less, that's what Beards is built on.
Why pay more if you don't have to?
Dad always taught me from day one is you got to look at the diamond. You can't just buy off of paperwork. Rather than us just saying, hey, this one's $7,000, the other one's $10,000, we're going to tell the consumer why this one's $7,000 and why this is $3,000 less but almost looks identical.
Don't overpay at the Wall Street-owned corporate chain. Get the transparency and value you deserve at Beards at the St. John Town Center.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club is an attractive destination for golfers all over the Southeast. You too will enjoy our classic Arnold Palmer design that will test your game and keep you coming back. Book a tee time at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up?
Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
If a birthday or anniversary is looming in your immediate future, take care of it today by ordering a floral arrangement online at CuneFlowers.com. You'll be the star of their day. This is Frank Frangie. Take it from me. An arrangement from Cune Flowers works like magic.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
We certainly have had a great time here on the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. We had the honor of having Brigadier General Mike Fleming join us to talk about resources available to veterans. Again, you can go to thefirewatch.org to learn more about that. Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship, joined us to talk some golf, and it's going to be fun. We've got one of the John Deere going on this week, and then obviously we turn our attention overseas, the Scottish Open and then the British Open at Royal Portrush the next 2 weeks after that. So an exciting time for golf as we get to the final major of the calendar year. But we've got the Ryder Cup, we've got the FedEx playoff, so still some great golf beyond the British Open. We ranked the top 10 greatest active American athletes. We went with LeBron James, Patrick Mahomes, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Aaron Rodgers, Clayton Kershaw, Mike Trout, Katie Ledecky, Travis Kelce, and Scotty Scheffler. Again, not trying to project success moving forward. So Caitlin Clark, Paul Skeens, were mentioned, but not put on the 10. And we weren't going to include people that we don't really believe are really active anymore. Tiger Woods, Simone Biles, but they were certainly great submissions. But yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun. And as we get to it, 4th of July, we'll welcome in Rick Ballou here in a minute. Are you excited about Happy Gilmore 2? It comes out in about 3 weeks.
It's a cautious optimism.
Yeah.
Like I think you and I talked about this. I was really excited about Coming to America 2.
Oh, it was awesome.
I was really excited about Beverly Hills Cop 4.
I never even watched that. Was that any good?
It was about as good as Part 3 was.
Yeah.
A lot of these sequels, like for whatever reason, for every good sequel that there is, there's like 10 bad ones.
Yeah.
And not everything can be Terminator 2. I get it. Not everything can be Godfather 2. I get it. But Happy Gilmore in our age, if you're 35 to 50 or 30 to 50, I mean, Happy Gilmore is probably very high on the list.
Yes.
And hope it's good. I hope the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and I mean this, is Independence Day 2.
Okay.
Independence Day 2, you want to talk about ruining the first movie? I was pissed leaving that theater.
And didn't it come out like decades later?
Oh, it was so horrible.
Unfortunately, we won't have Carl Weathers in this one.
Right. So every time I see, I think somebody's portraying his kid, according to the trailer.
Okay. Oh, really?
I think so. But every time a sequel comes out.
Is it the same actor who's portraying Nordberg's kid in The Naked Gun? That'd be hilarious.
Or is it Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, I don't believe so. But I just want it to be good. I just don't want it to be terrible.
That's the thing, and it's got so many cameos in it, and that's fun, but it can also weigh down a movie. So we'll see. Fingers crossed that Happy Gilmore 2 will be good. You brought up some sad news in the entertainment world. Michael Madsen, the actor in Reservoir Dogs, played Mr. Blonde, and in Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 played Bud. Bill's brother passed away today at the age of 67.
That guy was a great actor.
Great actor.
I'll show you my age here. That was the dad in Free Willy, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
and Free Willy, too. That was, when Free Willy came out, I was 10 years old. That was an awesome movie.
It's what he's best known for.
Well, no, it's not what he's best known for, but I think people my age will remember instantly. Oh, yeah, the dad in Free Willy. But obviously, he's known for Reservoir Dogs. He was in some really interesting movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's great character actor. I mean, he is absolutely. And in Reservoir Dogs, he plays a psychopath.
Yes.
I mean, about as well as anybody you'll ever see on screen outside of Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
Gosh, he was in a movie where Charlie Sheen was an undercover cop in like a motorcycle biker gang. I don't know the name of it. Came out in the early 90s.
Okay.
Apparently, it was based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy plot. Michael Madsen was like the main bad guy in that movie, and he was fantastic.
How about that?
Yeah,
good stuff. All right, let's do this now.
Now, the 2-minute drill on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou joining us now. Who was your favorite wrestling heel?
Oh, without any question, the Magnificent Morocco.
Yeah.
Don Morocco.
Okay.
Loved him.
Yeah?
And, he really didn't have the body for it. He was really big in the shoulders and, the torso, but he wasn't like a Jesse the Body Ventura or a Jimmy Snuka, Paul Orndorff, anyone like that. But I loved his gift of the gab, and when he was being represented by Captain Lou Albano in those years, and he was also represented by Freddie Blassie. I loved him. He's my all-time favorite. I saw him in a cage match against Jimmy Snuka.
Oh yeah,
really?
at the Garden.
Yeah.
Funny that he was the original Rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they completely forgot that when they turned The Rock into The Rock, but it was The Rock, Don Morocco. I don't know if he gave him his blessing for that. I would tend to doubt it. But you never refer to The Rock as Don Morocco anymore.
The back then it was so regional, but they actually showed a title fight, and this was like Saturday afternoon at 11 o'clock, and it was when Morocco beat Pedro Morales for the Intercontinental belt, and then he held on to it, and Snuka, I think it was the Madison Square Garden where he jumped off the cage and Morocco rolled and got out, but it was the same deal in Boston, didn't jump off the cage, but Morocco won. I can't remember if it was interference by Lou Albano, whatever, but a long list. I've never liked the good guys in wrestling. I've always loved the heels.
I've heard you
but
talk
I'm going to go Magnificent Morocco as number one.
Yeah, it's a great choice. We
pretty weird. I root for like serial killers and shows and stuff.
Mobsters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It's
kidding, people.
Yeah.
Not really.
But yeah, it was fun. We were sort of talking about that in the last segment, like wrestlers that could do both, play the face and the heel effectively well, and really when you think of them, you don't necessarily think face or heel, like Shawn Michaels, guys like that. Hogan was
that was the best ever at the Bash of the Beach.
Yeah.
But there were guys Ric Flair was great at it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he
great
was incredible.
Heel. But I don't think of Flair as ever being much of a face. Like, I know as he got older, the fans would appreciate. But to me, he was almost always the bad guy.
You have to be able to talk.
He's probably my favorite heel.
Yeah, Jimmy Snuka was great, but he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, the wrestling was fun, but that was like kind of the third component. To me, it was always the interviews. Mm-hmm. And back then, Vince McMahon actually did the interviews. And number two was the storylines, behind the scenes. And, the actual fighting was good. But, again, I favored those two things over that.
Absolutely. What's coming up?
We got a lot of good stuff coming up tonight. A couple of ideas I've come up with, including one that I thought of earlier today that I think the people will enjoy. We'll do that. Got a couple of topics as well. So looking forward to getting after it and having a lot of fun here on this Thursday.
Sounds good. We'll be listening. Have a happy 4th.
You too.
That's going to do it for us. Hacker, what do you have coming up?
It's going to be my best show of the year. July 3rd, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I save everything good for this evening. You're just going to have to tune in to find out. It will be epic.
All right. Sounds great. Hey, it's been a lot of fun.
Hayes, I really enjoyed it, buddy.
Absolutely. Have a happy 4th to you, to JJ, to everybody out there. For the vacationing Frangie, he will be back on Monday. For Hacker, for JJ, I'm Hayes Carline. Have a wonderful 4th of July celebration. Into the Night with Rick Ballou is up next. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.